problem is that we're not
Blacks
telling
here in
the
this
kids
city have
starting
made
to use
significant
drugs earlier
contributions.
in life than they ever have.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Minority Focus. And my name is Bernice Belt, and I'm standing in for Mr. Jimmy Moore. And today we have guests from the Interracial Women's Group based here in Paducah, Kentucky. And we're so happy to be able to have this opportunity at Paducah too. We thank Tom Butler for the opportunity to promote this great organization and this great annual event called Calling All Colors. We have the coordinator here, who is a coordinator for the second consecutive year, Miss Martha Argotte, and she's going to introduce our additional guest. Hi, Martha.
Hello, and thank you for having us here with you today.
You're welcome.
I'd like to introduce Karen Harris-Story. She is our education coordinator for the Interracial Women's Group.
Hello, Karen.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. Well, I tell you what, I don't want to do too much talking today. I'm so excited about this because it is really a huge, huge program, and I understand it is throughout the United States. So Martha, if you would, or Karen, if you would, give a little history, a little background of the Interracial Women's Group, and then go right on into talking about the annual Calling All Colors event.
Well, the Interracial Women's Group has been around for, I would say, 20 plus years. I've been a member the last 3 years that I've been here in Paducah. They started Calling All Colors 15 years ago. This coming up workshop will be our 16th workshop.
Wow.
So for 16 years, we have been helping over 200 students that attend every year learn about various cultures, religions, just how to interact with children that they might think are different than them. As well as learning leadership skills.
You gave that number of over 200. Now, that's over 200 per year attending this event.
Yes, but we reach out to over 1,200 when they go, those 200 that attend the workshop go back to their schools and reach all their peers at their schools.
Okay, well that means then that you have the full support of the school systems.
Yes.
Superintendents, administrators, principals, classroom teachers, and even support staff.
We let the youth go back to their school and we have a competition. And our winners last year did several things throughout the year to tell about what they learned. One of the things they did that was PowerPoint. So they were able to share it with all their classmates, which was fabulous.
Awesome.
It was great.
Awesome.
Wonderful learning experience for them, and they're going to remember what they learned because they worked with it and then they taught it.
That is awesome. Do you know, well, we don't know, but there is such a huge number of adults who don't know what PowerPoint is, let alone being able to do it.
Absolutely.
So it is exciting that the Interracial Women's Group is joining the educational system here in our city and our county and our private schools.
Correct.
As well. And so parents have an opportunity to know that their children are adding another layer of awareness to their lives at a very young age. We really appreciate that. Martha, as the coordinator for the second consecutive year, and probably forever until we're all gone, tell us a little bit about the planning process and what really goes into making sure this event happens every year.
Well, one of the things is this program is very important to the Interracial Women's Group. So it's one of the programs that we strive to make sure we have enough funding, because that's the main thing. Without donations from our community, we wouldn't be able to have this event to the success that we've had it. So we start with collecting donations from businesses, folks in our community, anyone that's willing to help. And what we do is we have a subcommittee for Calling All Colors, members of the Interracial Women's Group. We come up with, okay, we have a fundraiser chair, and she starts this year already working with businesses because obviously we have budget years.
Yes.
Then we have someone that works with our volunteers. She coordinates any volunteers that want to come help that day of the event, because it is a full day workshop. It's from 8:30 to 1:30.
Great.
We also have people that work on the programs, such as the brochures that we send out to businesses, and the actual programs that we use that day so the students know where their rotation is. And we have someone that helps coordinate the food, because we do have food for our volunteers that day, and Karen's graciously helped us with that this year. So there's a lot of planning, and obviously, you know, a lot of details go into it because we want it to be a workshop where the students get the most benefit out of it. So we look back at the evaluations from the previous year to see what did the students think, what were the workshops that they enjoyed the most, which sessions did they find interesting, why, which ones did they not think were so interesting to them. And then we try and see, okay, who do we know in the community that would be a good presenter? What topics do we think the students need to learn about the most?
Well, Karen, you were about to say
I was
something.
going to say, I have two things to interject. One, when you ask what goes into the planning, a lot of work. I will tell you that. Martha has put a lot of hours into this. And you know from working with different groups in town, we have a very generous community.
Yes, we do.
Of course, we always need more donations. But we're lucky in that I feel like Paducah is fairly homogenous, but it is amazing when you start looking and working in the community, the folks that do bring a different aspect and will come forward to help us with this and realize how important it is to share with these children.
Karen, you used the word homogenous. Now, we probably will have some children who are going to be looking at this show. Can you explain to the children what that means?
I just got back from Washington, D.C. with a school group here in town, and they spent some time telling the kids, it's not going to be like Paducah where you see maybe 1 or 2 or 3 ethnicities. When you go to the big cities, you see everything. You hear Russian walking down the street and German. Our kids aren't exposed to a lot of that, and they need it. I mean, it's a wonderful thing, and they need to realize there's a little more than beyond Paducah. And I think Paducah, we have a wonderful community, but there's not a lot of variation in folks. And so I think it's neat for them to see how there's a lot out there in this world. And what I'm amazed with, and I'm thinking about what to tell you, we've hosted exchange students. And it has been the most wonderful thing for my children because they'll go, well, they're just like we are. You know, the 15-year-old boy wants to sit in front of the computer and play games. All 15-year-old boys want to do that. You know, it's not just Paducah kids or American kids. That we have, you know, inside of us in our heart, we're all so much alike. And when they get to learn about the other cultures and see it, then they realize that we're not maybe so different.
Then it would be great to let the community know that the interracial women's group is indeed homogenous.
Correct.
If you could, give us, maybe other than African American and Caucasian American, if you could give us some of the other ethnicities that are represented in the IWG.
Well, Martha has a Hispanic background.
That is true. We have, we have a few folks that come, because again, Paducah does vary, so some individuals have come to join Interracial Women's Group for a year or two that they've been living here that have had different backgrounds.
Excellent, excellent. I remember one meeting where we had ladies come in and it was just absolutely awe-inspiring, because at that particular meeting, it looked like the United Nations.
Yes.
We were it was just awe-inspiring. And it was, I was just looking around the room where we were having the meeting, and it was just very touching, just the beauty that was in that room, and so much to offer among each of the ladies who were present. Let's talk a little bit about monthly meetings, the time, the location, who's welcome to come, and that type of thing.
Any woman in the community that wants to come
welcome.
and learn. We do have our monthly meetings are the 3rd Tuesday of every month, and they are held at 12 noon at the McCracken County Library.
And we are great to keep it in the lunch hour so that you don't, you know,
Bring
you
your
can
lunch.
zip over from lunch, have a brown bag lunch, and be back in time.
Excellent.
Yes.
And then now, and I do encourage all the women. I do encourage you, 18 years of age and older, and I like to say 18 years of age and better.
There you are.
Please, if you would, become affiliated with the Interracial Women's Group. And they're very gracious women. They understand that we are busy creatures, and we have a lot on our plate most of the time, and so they don't require a certain number of meetings to attend per year to be in good standing. But join and then come when you can. and provide email addresses and phone numbers and that type of thing so that they can communicate with you and keep you informed when you cannot be there.
And I tell you, one of the fun things that we do, because we do a lot of different activities, but we have what we call Culture Pals. And that is where we pick names out of hats and we try to pair up with someone from a different culture than our own. So we get to learn. As adults, you're never too old to learn. So we get to learn about, you know, a fellow friend from our interracial women's group who might have a different background than us. We get to do lunch together or go to the movies.
That's what I was going to say. It's a wonderful group. Everyone seems to be very aware of what's going on, and people are great about sharing. You know, this is coming to town. Maybe it was something you wouldn't have normally had on your radar, and they bring it to your attention, and you go. And again, wonderful opportunity. There are a lot of wonderful things that come to Paducah. Yeah.
Let's return back to the event itself. It will be November the 20th.
Correct.
Beginning at
8:30 in the morning until 1:30 in the afternoon. It is at the Lone Oak Methodist Church.
The Lone Oak Methodist Church. And how many schools are going to be represented this year?
The city schools and the county schools, as well as the parochial schools, and we also have Massac County schools.
Great. Is there an age range at all?
Typically, the program is geared for 4th to 8th grade. However, high schoolers do attend and they facilitate the sessions. So they're more in a leadership capacity. But it's great because they interact with the youth, so they become little mentors for them, and they learn as well.
So the big kids are mentoring the little kids.
Absolutely.
Outstanding. So the teenagers are learning how to become productive, progressive adults, and to be tolerant of differences among people, and not only to be tolerant, but to honor and to respect our differences.
Because that is the key thing, is to be able to understand it in order to embrace it. Because if we don't do that, that's where the prejudice come into play.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I was talking to some children, and I try to interject this as often as I can, that sometimes even within races and within ethnicities, there is prejudice.
Yes. That is true.
There is a lack of tolerance. In the African American race, and I guess I'm a little, you know, United Nations myself, but in America I'm considered African American. And so as an African American, we are different hues and shades and backgrounds and grades of hair and facial features and all sorts of things. And so it's homogenous within each race and homogenous within each ethnicity because we've evolved so much. And so it's always good to make sure that we understand our history, our background, to appreciate all the good aspects of it, and then to look at any aspects that may not be positive or productive, and look at ways that maybe we can help to make things better, one woman at a time, one child at a time.
What is so wonderful about this program is, for better or for worse, the schools are somewhat limited in their instructional time, and unfortunately a lot of that time is focused on what they know these children are going to be tested on. They don't have time. If the schools could do these programs, I know they would do them every day. The teachers would love it. So we really, it's a wonderful service for the schools for us to be able to bring these kids in, and it's, like you said, another layer on top of what they're getting in the classroom. But it's such a wonderful experience for them, again, to be out of the school, and again, with great leaders that come in from the community to work with the children. But it's something they don't get in school, unfortunately, and we are able to provide that. And like Martha said, you know, the more you understand, the more you learn, like I said, the walls come down, and you do embrace the other cultures when you realize they're not, you know, we're all pretty much alike.
I'm a firm believer in that every generation ought to develop so much so that it's better in every aspect than the generation that came before it. And it's easy to appreciate that we understand that it does indeed take a village to raise a child. Now, I know that sold a lot of books and made some people very rich who had the ability to write well and get them published. But the real truth is that it's true.
Absolutely.
And so the Interracial Women's Group joins a myriad of organizations, just beautiful organizations, that remind us that we all have to take some role in raising the children. I know that the parents appreciate it. I know that they do. And they can do so much at home, but our children and grandchildren are part of the scheme of things outside the home.
Well, and we all know our kids come in and teach us things we didn't know.
Right.
So it's wonderful when they can come in and, you know, did you know this, Mom? And share what they've learned.
And maybe some things you don't want to know.
Right.
But you need to know. Martha, let's recap, and Martha and Karen, let's both recap. Let's go back and remind the ladies and gentlemen, and the children too, I hope the parents make sure their children are watching this show, that the Interracial Women's Group is a diverse group of women who are constantly, continuously accepting new membership.
Yes.
An organization that embraces all women 18 years of age and older. Are there dues? Let's talk about that for a minute.
Very small dues, under $20
Good.
for the year. And a lot of that money goes back to different things going on in our community that we help sponsor. So it's not that, you know, we use it for any other reason but to enhance our community.
So no cruises, you know,
No,
nothing,
massages,
nothing
no
in Las
facials.
Vegas.
No.
Okay, but strictly to create a foundation for everything that this organization wants to do, because you have to have seed money. Is that correct?
Correct.
You know, to print the brochures. And
So under $20.
Under $20 for yearly dues.
Sounds great.
There are, again, no set number of meetings that you have to attend. You're welcome to attend one if that's all you can make it. We send you the minutes so you stay in tune with what's been going on. You know, you can come right in and feel like you've never even missed a meeting. We do, like Karen was saying, different activities that come into town. We'll go to the theater, or we'll go to dinner as a group on various occasions. So we like to explore the community and have great fellowship.
Excellent.
So
excellent.
any woman that's looking to make new friends, learn and enjoy what's in our community, please come to one of the Interracial Women's Group meetings.
And you will make new friends. I walked in not knowing anyone. I was working with foster care children and thought it would be a good thing for me professionally, and it's turned out to be a wonderful thing personally. New friends, lots of new friends.
Karen, you and Martha have the sweetest spirits, and I want the people in our viewing audience to know that you are representative of that same spirit, the same attitude, that same caring heart of every woman that is affiliated with this organization. I'd like to remind the audience that Calling All Colors will have its next annual event November the 20th at Lone Oak Methodist Church.
Anyone that wants to come to volunteer for an hour, a half a day, or the full day is more than welcome.
It kicks off at 8:30, so volunteers would be there at what time?
By 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
Because those buses will start arriving and we need to register those students. And we also, each student receives a t-shirt that the high schoolers come up with the design. So every student as they arrive gets a t-shirt, and what's wonderful besides the educational aspect of the program is that they get to make new friends. Yes. Because all the students intermingle. There are 8 sessions that we provide throughout the day, but each student will go through 4. So you're not paired with someone from your own school or even your own class. You might have someone from a completely different school and you get to make new friends.
Excellent, excellent. This is so exciting.
It really is.
Yes, and I know that the church, the host church, is excited about having been chosen this year. And we do understand that it's not always at the same location each year.
Right.
And so different organizations, faith-based organizations, have an opportunity to pour into you by allowing you to use their facilities at no charge.
Right.
Outstanding. Thank you. Thank you, church in Lone Oak. We also want to share that everyone will receive lunch at the event, and t-shirts again for all of our kids who are going to be attending. And then we want to also ask the parents and other people in the community to love what these ladies are doing so much that you give them some feedback every now and then. let them
very
know.
important.
Let them know that you appreciate what they're doing. Keep them lifted up. If you'd like to sponsor, you can sponsor anywhere from $10, $25, $50, $75, $100, $1 million.
We'll take
It all helps.
Yes, they're going to take it all.
helps.
And I'll tell you what else. They're good stewards. They know how to take care of what they are blessed with. And so we want to encourage organizations and individuals, families.
Yes.
If you would, please bless them that way. Be a good support, be a positive support to the Interracial Women's Group. Martha, what do you do for a living?
I work in human resources at Lourdes Hospital here in
Plugging
Paducah.
Lourdes Hospital. And Karen, what do you do?
I work with Story Physical Therapy. My husband's a physical therapist in private practice.
All right, plugging physical therapist. Our women are retired, they are in careers, they're in school. Some of them are combining 2 or 3 different categories in their lives. Just an exciting group of women. I am just blessed to be a member of the organization, and we're going to continue promoting the Interracial Women's Group and Calling All Colors and the other culture pals and the other things that are going on with this organization. And again, we do hope that people will pour into you and what you're doing as a vehicle through which they can help children and to help better our society.
Yes.
Each of you, what would you like to say in our closing?
Well, one of the things that we didn't mention earlier that I do want everyone to know is that part of the funds that we do raise go back to the schools, because the top 3 schools do receive monetary prizes for their PowerPoint presentations. So the money goes right back to the schools to help increase diversity awareness at each school.
Excellent. Karen?
Well, again, like you said, for the families, the parents, to be supportive. We have the support of the schools, again, because they aren't able to always offer these wonderful programs, and our children need them. So we appreciate all the support that the parents give us, because their children are missing, which the children enjoy, missing a day of class, to be out learning new things.
Excellent. And I am sure that the teachers would chime in with you that it makes a difference in the lives, the behaviors, the attitudes of the students who do come to this event and are changed because of this event, not only for the balance of the school year, but for the rest of their lives. I am sure, I just know the teachers out there are just really grateful for this organization. I'd like to still encourage individuals and organizations, if you would, please become sponsors. Do what you know in your heart you can afford to do, that you can do within your budget, and make sure that you do bless the Interracial Women's Group. This is Bernice Belt for Jimmy Moore for Minority Focus here at Paducah 2. Keep tuning in, ladies and gentlemen and children, and support Paducah 2. And we hope you have a great, great set of holidays that are coming up. And then we wish you the very best 2010 to exceed every year of your life. Have a good day.